This is Taking Care of Business with Marty Pay and Clay Kerner on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180. Taking Care of Business is brought to you by Alliance Brokers and Consultants and Human Resources Outsourcing Incorporated. Now, here are your local business professionals ready to help you take care of business. Marty and Clay.
Welcome to Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180 with your host Clay Kerner, and I'm Marty Pay. Clay, last week we had a great show with Sally Pipes, the president of the Pacific Research Institute, and she wrote a little book that we both enjoyed called The Truth About Obamacare.
You know, I've read that book a couple of times and used that as the foundation for my presentation to the Chamber recently.
You know, Clay, the only thing is there wasn't a lot of pictures in that book, so I'm not too sure how you got through it a couple of times. But
actually, Tina helped me.
Tina helped you, okay. Next week, we've got two guests. The first part of the show, we're going to have Brent Bozell, the founder and president of the Media Research Center. I don't know if you saw him, Clay, on Hannity this week, but it was a very, very funny show and a great skit they put on about the mainstream media.
I don't watch that conservative stuff.
Yeah, here we go. Our second guest next week is going to be Bob Lowen, who was our guest at the Bakersfield Business Conference. His group last night filed the initiative in California that, if passed, will prevent unions and corporations from making direct contributions to candidates. And are you ready for this one? It's also going to stop payroll deductions for politics from the paychecks of public employees.
That's a great bill.
Yeah, so we're going to, this is really the first volley in a fight that's going to go on till 2012. So, but this week we have live by phone the fastest rising politician in Kern County history, the number 3 most powerful man in the United States House of Representatives, our own Kevin McCarthy, the author of Young Guns.
Oh.
To save my soul, I can't get a date. My baby's got a tune on Channel 8. White and Big Cheyenne, coming through the TV, shooting up the land.
That was for you, Kevin.
Congressman, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Hey, thanks, man. I even get my own song coming in. That's nice.
I don't know if you've heard that one before. That's by the Olympics from the 1958.
Kevin, I got to tell you, that was Clay's idea. I have nothing to do with that.
I had never heard that one. I could tell you that for sure.
I will send it to you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he will. Do you know anything about that campaign reform initiative? I know you and I talked a little bit off the air.
I haven't read about it, but I heard about it. You know, this is a continual thing. One thing we find that is happening in California politics, and it happens in other places when you see unions get to deduct directly out of their paycheck the dues they spend it for politics, too. So you have government spending the money that's doing the payroll. And so one of the things is paycheck protection, to say if somebody wants to join the union and have the money taken out, especially for political purposes, they'd have to sign every year. So it'd be a fair process. And I know that's kind of what he's looking at, and also from the corporations donating to candidates. So it'll be an interesting debate, and I think it'll be a debate that makes campaigns a little more open and honest to the process.
You know, Kevin, I know this is on a state basis, but Bob had mentioned to me last night, I didn't even realize it, that card check had passed here in the Central Valley.
Card check has passed in the state, in the Senate, and Michael Rubio voted for it.
Rubio voted for it?
Here's a guy, a state senator from Kern County, Michael Rubio, who said, you know, he's not one of those Democrats. He voted for card check. Now, card check is, to me, one of the items that would probably bring any country down. They tried to pass it in Washington last term, and we were able to stop it. What card check does, it takes away the vote to even create a union. Unions down to just get to go around with a card and say, you want a union? Okay, there it is. Normally, like when we have elections, someone gets to go inside a ballot box, privately make the decision. Now you got the intimidation of unions saying, are you going to vote for a union? Just sign this card, and they go around collecting enough, and boom, now they're a union. It will unionize almost every business, will make us less competitive, will make us, we'll probably have greater unemployment, less investment in California, and you'll find companies even leaving California at a stronger level.
Didn't Schwarzenegger veto this a couple times when it came up before?
He vetoed it a couple times, yes.
Boy, and here we go
You
again.
watch the other states in America are going the other direction to become competitiveness, where they're having a balance where you find so many in government payroll paid higher than the private sector to make more competition, the debt that it's going through, and then you look at the pensions, and not only throughout California, but this will even make it worse.
Mm-hmm. We're having a conversation with Congressman Kevin McCarthy, the Majority Whip of the United States House of Representatives.
Hey, Kevin, this is Clay. You know, I've always been discouraged because it seems that the Republican Party votes Republican, the Democratic Party votes Democratic. When are people going to take responsibility to vote the way they actually feel rather than having to vote along a party line?
Well, see, that's a good question, and the one thing that you have to find, people should vote on the merit, and a lot of that comes down to the structure of the debate of way you bring a bill up. Because many times you only have one bill before you, so you have no options. You don't get to do amendments. Like the last 4 years in Congress, you never were able to have what is called an open rule, meaning every bill that comes before the floor goes first to Rules Committee, and then they close it down where people couldn't even offer amendments. So then you can't even make whatever bill's even better or be able to go through it. So what you have found in this new Congress, we've changed the rules, where bills have to be out there for at least 3 days before they're by the floor, go through the committee, but more importantly, an open process where people can offer amendments. So then you're getting kind of to the premise of your question. Now you can start talking about the bill itself. Whereas we're going through a battle right now because when the Democrats were in the majority, they never passed a budget, so government was not funded all the way. And then once the election passed, the old Congress was still in, they funded government only to March 4th. So when Republicans came in, they went out and had to deal with a continuing resolution, but they had an open process where we debated for 90 hours where anybody could offer an amendment, whether you wanted to add money or cut money. And in there, the final bill had Republicans and Democrat amendments in. It ended up cutting more than $61 billion, more than $100 billion from the president's budget off discretionary. Even many of you know Congressman Weiner out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
He even passed a cut to an agency. A lot of people wouldn't say he would, but that had Republican and Democrat vote. All of them did. And then the final bill wasn't looked at as this Republican or Democrat bill. Everybody was able to debate it. That is a better process. That's the process you want to have, and you can get away from just one side or the other when you're only able to offer one and other people not have input.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back in a moment. Our guest by phone is Congressman Kevin McCarthy on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.